Hey guys, this is Blinks, and I wanted to make a guide for all the new players out there who are just getting into tribes and might not necessarily know too much about the game itself or the classes. And I wanted to make a guide about the Pathfinder because I think it's the funnest class in the game, as well as the most versatile. So basically, what I want to do is just go through the class, go through its upgrades, talk about them, and talk about how they're used. So, starting off with weapons, the default weapon for the Pathfinder is the light spin fuser, and this is the weapon of choice for cappers. People going after the flag, trying to get it as fast as they can and bring it back to their base for points. The reason it's good for that is because it doesn't do as much damage as the bolt launcher, but it gives you the same amount of speed when you use it to boost yourself, which kind of like rocket jumping in Quake. Um, so basically, it gives you speed, and it doesn't really take away that much health. It still takes away about half, but a little bit less than the bolt launcher. I mean, other than that, it's still a very useful gun. It does a decent amount of damage. It's fairly easy to use, and it's iconic of the Tribe series. Now, as for the unlock, the bolt launcher, it is the weapon of choice for chasers, which is the people that go after the capper after they've taken the flag. Um, it does more damage than the spin fuser, which is why it's used for chasing because it does more damage. It kills people quicker. But at the same time, it's not as good for self-boosting because it'll do more damage to you. It's also a little bit more difficult to use because its projectile fires in an arc rather than a completely straight line like the spin fuser. For this reason, I would definitely say it's a side grade to the spin fuser over an upgrade, and whether you choose to unlock it or not is really dependent on your playstyle. So after this, we have the shotgun and the light assault rifle. The shotgun is the default unlock, and honestly, it's a really, really good gun. It can take out a light in 2 hits if he's close to you. It can take out a medium in 3. It takes 4 or 5 to take out a heavy. And it's really, really easy to use because all it is you just point it at the person and you shoot them. There's no travel time of projectiles involved. There's no leading your shots. Just point and click. That being said, being a shotgun, you have to be close to the person to shoot it. So while it kills people quicker than the light assault rifle, the fact that you have to be close to someone is kind of a limiting factor on it. And really, whether you use it or not depends on your playstyle. If you like to be like up in people's faces, killing them with the spin fuser or the bolt, and then quickly switching to the shotgun and finishing off, then I would really recommend the shotgun. However, the light assault rifle is kind of the opposite of that. It's very difficult to use at close range, but at medium range, it's far superior to the shotgun because it can actually do damage to people at medium range. Um, it's definitely more difficult to use than the shotgun. You have to lead your shots, and the most difficult thing about it is you can't hold down the button and fire like you can with every other SMG. You have to click for every round, and it fires in rounds of 3, kind of like the battle rifle in the Halo series. Um, so it's probably the most difficult SMG to use, but at the same time, it does a great amount of damage and is good at medium range, which is something the shotgun isn't. And this is once again something that I would call a side grade because it's a stylistic choice. Whether you want to be up in people's faces killing them or you want to kill them from a safe medium distance. So as for the grenades, the difference between the impact nitron and the explosive nitron is the impact nitron doesn't do a lot of damage. It only does 300 damage on hit, but it forces anyone it hits to drop the flag if they're carrying it, which is huge in Capture the Flag. And the explosive nitron doesn't have that flag dropping function, but it does a lot more damage. I think somewhere around 600 and 650. The reason I don't know that is because I never use the explosive nitron, and I actually feel like it's a downgrade to the impact nitron, at least in CTF, which quite honestly is the only game type that matters. Um, Unless you're interested in playing Arena or Team Deathmatch maybe or something like that with the Pathfinder, I would hold off on getting the Explosive Nitron. I actually see it as a downgrade to the Impact Nitron. I would never ever use the Explosive Nitron over an Impact Nitron in a competitive game for any reason. So now we come to the thrust pack and the energy recharge pack. Energy recharge pack is what comes standard unlocked, and it's really good for new players. It gives you a lot of margin of error. Managing your jets and energy is one of the hardest things about Tribes Ascend, and energy recharge pack, it gives you a little bit of leeway in doing that. It also, if you're a capper, it lets you run routes that maybe you can't run with thrust pack, because you can go a little bit higher, stay in there a little bit longer, and make those really long jumps that you can't with thrust pack. However, thrust pack is the pack of choice for chasers, and pretty much anyone except a capper, no matter what you're doing with the Pathfinder, because it gives you a really nice boost of speed. Using the thrust pack, you can get from 0 to about 150 in 2 seconds. And then if you boost yourself with a disc jump or a nitron jump afterwards, you can get going to about 200 kph or Sanix in about, I don't know, 3 seconds, which is really huge in a game like Tribes where you need to be able to go fast really quick because you gotta go fast. So I would say that the thrust pack is generally an upgrade over the energy recharge pack, but not a complete upgrade. There's still side grades and they're still situational. I would unlock the thrust pack. It makes the Pathfinder so much more fun to play. And, once you're thrusting after cappers going out, I don't know, 200, 300 kph and catching up to them, you're going to start having a lot more fun in this game. There's not really much to be said about the armor. Obviously you want to upgrade it. It's got some great perks. It's got regeneration delay, plus energy, plus health, minus 10 mass, which basically means you're more maneuverable in the air. But since there's no other choice, there's really nothing I can compare it to. As far as perks go, I play Chase for the team Egocentric, and the perks that I use are Reach, because Tribes is a game that basically revolves around flags, and you want to use Reach because it will increase your ability to play around flags. It'll increase the level at which your flag play exists. And I use Egocentric because the way to get speed in Tribes is to sacrifice health for speed by disc jumping, nitron jumping, or bolt jumping, I guess. And Egocentric decreases the damage due to yourself. So I think with Egocentric, I can nitron and I can thrust and nitron twice and be at 300 health and be going around 250. But I can't use my third nitron because it'll do exactly 300 damage to me and I'll die. But with Egocentric, I can nitron, be at around, I want to say around 300 health still, and be going 300, which is a huge difference and can make the difference between stopping a point and not. As far as perks in general go, I would say every perk has its place. The only perks I would recommend not getting are Stealthy. I think it's completely useless. I've never used it ever. From the primary perk slot, Stealthy. And, I don't really use Looter. Sometimes it's fun if you're playing Brute and you want to fractal spam and just want to throw fractals over and over and over again. And in the secondary slot, I think Determination comes unlocked. I'm not sure, but in any case, I've never used it, and that's about it. So I would avoid getting Stealthy. It's pretty useless. Every other perk has its place, and hopefully they'll come out with some really cool skins for Pathfinder. But yeah, just wanted to give you guys an overview of what a comp player thinks about the Pathfinder loadout, what it's capable of, and how to do things with it. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next guide.